Hi everyone and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So in today's video we are going to be carrying on with the games room updates, and in today's video we are going to be doing something that I've been putting off for far too long now, and that is going to be sorting out all of that. So it is a mixture of bits that will have places in the games room in the future, as well as a couple other bits that I just haven't worked out what I'm doing with them yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be going through, sorting it all out, and yeah, actually having a final amount of things in here. So basically by the end of the video, I want the things that are in here to be the things that are going to be staying in here. There are a couple of things that I'm not sure about, but we'll get to that as we're going through it. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take you through, and we're just going to go through everything on the video. Then once we've done that, we're going to be tackling the two bookcases right behind me. We're going to get all of the trunking done, get the new games from Tuesday's video into the bookcase, and as well I've got a very interesting story with regards to the additional shelf that I ordered for this bookcase. So yeah, we're going to be going through all of that today, and yeah, hopefully by the time sort of we're finished, it's going to look more like the finished games room that we want. With regards to the main bookcases on the left, we are going to be looking at those in next week's video, and then yeah, come the end of next week's video, we will pretty much be there with the games room. As I say, there are some future updates that I'm looking to make, and yeah, they'll be coming in subsequent weeks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to today, looking forward to finally getting all of this sorted, get it all out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch you over to the GoPro now, and then we can go through and have a look what's in my mammoth pile. Okay, so now that we've sorted out that side of the room, it's now time to start on the bookcases. So I'm going to start off on the side with the PS5 games. So I've got PS4 games here, PS5 games are at the top here. Then we've got Atari 2600 mostly with my Jaguars, my Jaguar game. Then we've got Commodore 64 and then Spectrum at the bottom here. So yeah, the plan is obviously we'll get the top three shelves done easily enough. The bottom one, I am not sure how I'm going to do this, because we've obviously, if I take with the Commodores for example, so we've got cases of that size, we've then got that size, which is slightly smaller than the first case, and then we've got normal cassette tapes, which are then smaller still. So yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do here is potentially have a look at what I'm actually going to be putting at the front of the shelf. So obviously we've got quite a few Commodore games in the blue box. Then the big box, we've got a load of Spectrum games, which will go down the bottom. So yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do is going to really have to go through and sort out what I want where, and then have basically a stepped approach to the trunking. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it. And potentially doing it that way, I might be able to use some of the offcuts instead of using a brand new strip. But with that, we'll see when we get to it. But for now, we can start by cracking. I'll tell you what we're going to do actually. Before I get into that, I just want to get all of these extra games that we found out of the way. So for now, I am just going to put them, if I've got enough room, behind the PS4 games. Actually, I won't put the iPad behind there because that can go behind the PS3 games. But I will put both of the SOCOMs behind there. Alright, So there we go, they're behind there, out the way. And then I'll put the iPad behind in a minute. Right, so let's crack on with the PS5 first. And what I'll do is I'll switch you over to the GoPro so that you can see what I'm doing. So with the PS5, I think pretty much everything is the sort of same size. So let me just check, because right at the beginning here we've got a lot of the cardboard cases. I'm pretty sure they are all still, yeah, by about 1 millimetre. So I'm happy just to do it as we normally do. Right, so what I've actually got, these are all pre-stickered as well. So these are 2 that we had from last week's video. They're just 2 that were left over. And I'm just going to pull them all out. Right, so just like the other side, just going to put 1 on each end. And then let's get this one stuck down. Alright, so there we go, that one's in. But really, I'm going to pay close attention to this actually, because I have been, it's only on the PS1 shelf, but I've been having problems with a couple of them. There's a couple of the shelves there where the trunking's actually becoming unstuck. But I'll keep an eye on it. If not, if it keeps happening, then what I will do is I've actually got some like proper heavy duty double-sided tape, which is designed for, well, I don't actually know what it was originally designed for, but I swear you could probably glue a person to a wall with it. It's that strong. So I'll just use some of that. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll be all right. Right, so now put these ones, and as you see, there's a tiny bit of overhang, but nothing too drastic. Yeah, I can live with that. Right, so I want to put this down that end as well, because it has got a sleeve case. Tell you what, I'm going to just rejig some of these a bit, because I know I've still got to sort them all out. So there we go, that's a bit better. Right, and yes, so actually seeing Leica there reminds me to say I have now had the replacement version of that. So yeah, that's actually downstairs. What I am probably going to do for now is I'm probably going to play that one until I come up to the problem and leave the other one sealed. But yeah, as I say, I've got so many other things that I'm in the middle of playing at the moment that I want to get through those first. And to be quite honest, even just looking at the PS5 games, there is a lot that I need to actually get back and finish. So, Stellar Blade, I want to go back to finish that. Quiet Place, I need to get back and finish that as well. And I actually need to go through. So what I'm going to do is as I'm going through the collection and just organising all the shelves, I am going to make sure that everything is clean as well. So get all of any stickers that are on the cases and that off, because yeah, there's been a lot of stuff recently that has just been sort of put in the shelves, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll clean that off later, and just never got round to doing it. So yeah, that will be another task that I've got, as well as going through and rescanning the whole collection. So I've had a couple of people ask me recently about what I use to keep track of my collection, and I use an app called iCollect. So this isn't sponsored or anything, the main reason why I went for that was when I first started the channel and first started wanting to sort of track my collection. It was the only app that was about that you didn't have to pay a monthly subscription for. And that was a big thing. I didn't want to be paying a monthly subscription. And that was the only one at the time that I could find that didn't have that. So that's why I ended up using it. And I'll be quite honest, it's been pretty good. But I think over the last sort of year or so, I've become probably a bit undisciplined. And I've been sort of bringing stuff into the collection and then forgetting to scan it into the app. So I need to go through and essentially sort of rescan everything. Right, so I'm going to probably put Concord up like this for now, just because we've got some space, because obviously I've built a bit of overflow for multiple reasons. One, because I know that we've got some new PS5 games coming into the games room soon, but equally as well just for sort of long-term future proofing. But as I say, I'm going to go through and organise these a bit better, obviously get everything alphabetised and everything like that. Right, so next up we've got the Atari shelf. Now, right, so with this one, so these are going to go behind on the Atari shelf. There is, right, so I'm going to use this box to cut the trunking off, because yeah, I've moved the other box over there and it's got a load of stuff on top of it, so I'm not going to try and get to it. But where did I, yeah, there we go, so there's my pen. I was a bit worried about that then. Right, so let's see if I can get this done without trashing everything. Right, so next port of call is going to be organising the games. So, to be honest, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort this out off camera, and at least that way then we can just concentrate on getting the stuff in the shelf. So yeah, I'm going to go through, a bit like what I've done with the PlayStation, like the PS1, PS2 and that. I'll just go through, sort them out into piles as to sort of keep at the front, maybes, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I have managed to get everything sorted. So we've got a variety of different piles. I'm hoping that they're all going to come out on the GoPro. So right up against the cabinet, we've got 2 rows of games here. The top row is the Spectrum games that are going into the shelf. The second row is the Commodore games that are going into the shelf. Then we have an absolutely ginormous pile. So 4 big piles of Spectrum games to go in, and then a relatively sort of pile and a bit of Commodore games. And then actually there's another pile at the back there with games for doubles. That was it. I was trying to think of the word then. Right, so what we're going to do first is, I think I'm going to start off with the Commodore shelf. Because I think that's going to be the easiest one, because we haven't got that much to put in. And I'm going to try, I want limited space here as well. Right, so I'm going to take all of the games out for now, including the ones that we've, no, we didn't put anything behind here, did we? These have already been here. Right, so these are going to stay at the back. I'm not worried about them. Right, so so how am I going to do this? I'm trying to work it out. Right, I'm going to put them in for now. Put Back to the Future in there. Then that one. And then the smaller ones. Right, so basically we are going to come up to here with the trunking. So let me shift those out of the way and just see. Yep, there we go. So we can use an offcut. So only need to trim off a small bit there. So where have I put the pen? Just there. So if I mark that up for just there. Right. Right, so there we go. So we've got that bit, we've just got to literally trim that bit. That will then go there, and then we can have all of the standard cassette tapes in that bit. Right, where have I put the saw now? Over there. Right. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to angle this down because I'm not too sure how much I'm getting in. Right, so if I... Right, there we go, there's that bit. Right, and then let's get the double-sided tape on. Oh, this is getting covered in stuff on the carpet, so I'm going to have to store this off the floor, I think. Right, put that one down there. Right, this probably isn't going to end up being as solid as I was hoping. Right. Right. So there we go. That is right. So now what we'll do is just like we do with all of the other bits. I'll put one tape there, one tape there. So basically this is going to turn out a bit like the cutouts on the PlayStation shelves. Right, so there we go. And then we'll be able to put the Commodore games in. So I'll tell you what we'll do actually, before we put any more in, let's get all of the bits that are going behind in place. Oh. So I'm going to pile these up a bit, but not go right to the top. Right, so we'll put that there, those there. And then that is going to be about it. So I've got a couple left over, so I'll put those in the next bit. So there's only two left over. And then for now, we'll put all of these in here. So what I will say is, when it comes to sort of future planning, the Spectrum and Commodore shelves will probably be one of the first that get removed if and when I need to get to that point. Right, so now here, becomes a bit more of a problem again, because the plastic cases are slightly different. So I think what I'm going to do is that one I'm going to include with the bigger cases, and then I'll just pull it forward. Right, so next up, so there we go, we've got another piece that will work as sort of what we need. So I'm not sure, we'll probably, actually I probably will be able to have all of these shells put together with sort of offcuts. So that'll be good, that'll be another, so it'll be another row, another strip of trunking saved as well. So that will be, so we should then have about 2.5 left after sort of everything's done. Right, there we go. So this one is, yeah, it's going to be like that, isn't it? So take those out, put that like that, and then literally I'm going to have to literally put it where the case starts, because I'm going to have to sort of do this one a bit by eye. Right. Right, so there's that one. Right. So what have I got? Yeah, so right, now I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to actually do it the other way round, because the cases have got a bit of an indent. It's going to be a bit harder to do it the other way. And then give it a bit of overlap with the last bit that we've done, because obviously with these ones they're going to sit further back still, and the last thing I want is that they sort of encroach. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the Goonies down this end just because it's a bit thicker. Right, so that's that one done, and then if I get one last bit, there we go, and then we'll use this one. This one's going to be easy again because I'll just push it up to this side. Right. Right, there we go. So just do the normal. Right, this one's going to be a bit, no, I can do it like that, can't I? Right, so in theory this should work. What I am going to do before I forget actually is I'm just going to stick these two behind there. Right, so that can stay there. And get the backing off, and there we go. So that's in place. Just give it a bit of a sort of bit of movement about, just so that it sort of adheres to the shelf. And then those go in like that. Those go in like that. Apart from that one, which is upside down. No, it's not, but oh, okay. And then, as I say, this one will slot in and just push it in manually. So there we go. So we've got all of the Commodore games in now. We've got the spares up the back, and yeah, we've got those ones at the front. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to talk through doing the Spectrum games, but I will put some footage in of me getting that one set up as well. And then yeah, I'll catch up with you once that's done. Okay, so we are all finished with this side of the bookcase. And I will say, I want to apologise straight off the bat. I don't know at what point the GoPro cut out with regards to when I was doing the Spectrum shelves. Yeah, it's only once I finished doing it, then realised that the GoPro had turned itself off. So I'm assuming that the batteries died. But as you can see, we have got everything in now. It's all got trunking behind it. I think the only one that hasn't is the Tank Attack, which is at the end of the Spectrum shelf, just because there's like a couple of centimetres gap behind it. And I didn't see the point of putting a bit of trunking in just to keep that one game forward. If I find that it's getting knocked and it's getting pushed back, then I will add a bit of trunking in behind it. But for now, I'm just going to leave it sort of sitting on the edge of the shelf. But I will admit, I am really happy with the way that the shelves are looking now. So obviously we've now got this half of the room is now completely done with regards to the trunking. And yeah, it is going to be a case of tackling the other side before we wrap up today's video. But before we jump over there, let's get out of the games room for a little while and head down to CEX, see if we've got anything new in that we can add to the collection. Okay, so we are back from CEX, and yeah, while it wasn't a big haul today, we've definitely got a really nice addition to the collection. I'm just going to get straight into it with this one, and that is Super Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube. So for those of you that have been watching the Building the Games Room series, you would have known that I actually picked up a copy of this a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I think I picked it up, paid for it, got home, and when I got home, I was reading the back and noticed that it was the German version. So ended up sort of rushing back down the next day to take it back. And yeah, each time I've gone in there since, I have been keeping an eye on what they've got on the shelf to see if they've got the black label version. Because they've had the, is it the hits? The grey ones. Is it GameCube hits? Or whatever they call it. They've had a copy of that in there for absolutely ages. But yeah, every time I look at it, I'm like, should I pick it up? Shouldn't I? And I'm like, no, I'm going to hold out for the black label. And yeah, finally have the black label in the collection, which is absolutely brilliant. So released in 2002 by HAL Laboratories. This is the second installment in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Features characters from Nintendo video game franchises such as Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, Pokemon and Donkey Kong amongst others. Like its predecessor, Super Smash Bros. Melee is a platform fighter that differs from traditional fighting games, as the objective is to force your opponent off beyond the boundaries of the stage. Super Smash Bros. Melee received critical acclaim from reviewers, most of whom credited Melee's expansion of gameplay from Super Smash Bros. And yeah, as I say, I've said in the previous videos, this has been one of my top 2 games for the GameCube. So to actually finally have this in the collection now, I am absolutely over the moon. So yeah, recently we picked up F-Zero GX, and yeah, this was the other game that I was after. Obviously, I am still picking up GameCube games whenever I can, but if I can get some of the heavy hitters that I want, then yeah, I will always do that. I do actually have to give credit to the guy at CEX. So the guy that was actually serving me at CEX, he was amazing, because he knew that I was a collector, and he literally, he went through all of the discs that they had in. I think at the time they had about 4 or 5 different copies of this game in, and he literally went through to make sure that I had the best manual, the best disc, and yeah, just the best across the board. So yeah, massive shout out to the guy at CEX for helping me out with that. And then so that was it from CEX, but there is one more game that I want to go through today, and that is yet another Amazon pre-order. So they are coming thick and fast at the moment. I think at the time of recording this, I've got one coming next week and potentially another one in a couple of weeks' time as well, if they don't get pushed back. I know the one next week is pretty much a dead cert, and the one in a couple of weeks has actually been pushed back 2 or 3 times now. So yeah, I'm really hoping that that does finally come. But for this week's pre-order pickup, we've got the Terrifier, the arcade game. So yeah, this has recently been released, and I'll be honest, the only reason that I picked this up was because I'd seen the trailer for this game, and I just decided, I jumped on Amazon, pre-ordered it. It was out a couple of weeks after I saw it, so yeah, decided to grab it. So this is a beat 'em up. And in the game, you step into the world, into the pixelated world of Carnage, in a gory retro fighting beat 'em up, packed with intense action, dark humour, and tons of fun. Inspired by the classic beat 'em up games of the 80s and 90s, you play as Art the Clown, the sinister, unpredictable villain from the Terrifier series. You unleash chaos across a variety of locations, with each stage being a movie set where a film about art is being produced, and you're here to disrupt the show. So yeah, I have to admit, I haven't actually watched any of the Terrifier films yet. So I think when the first one came out, it was quite unknown when it first came out, and then over the years it's really garnered sort of a cult following, and that's then resulted in the sequel and the prequel coming out in quick succession. So yeah, I am going to have to sit down and watch all of them, but yeah, I will admit I am really looking forward to playing this. As you'll see, it is still sealed. I haven't actually had a chance to capture the footage for it yet, but I will definitely have been able to sit down before this video goes up. I think I'll probably be able to sit down tomorrow, either tomorrow or the day after, and yeah, get the footage for this captured. So looking forward to that. Definitely one that I'm looking forward to playing. So ended up paying $32.95 for that off Amazon. Looking it up online, it's currently going on eBay for about £37. So yeah, as I say, another PS5 edition, which yeah, they're coming thick and fast at the moment, because yeah, I've had a lot of pre-orders coming in at the same time. But let's get back to the games room. So we've got this side of the shelf done. We're now going to tackle this side of the shelf. But before we actually no, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to get set up down that side, and then yeah, I can go into my interesting IKEA story that I've got for this. So yeah, give me a minute. I'm going to get switched over, get all the lighting moved over this side, and then yeah, we'll get those shelves populated. Okay, so we are now all set up on the other side of the bookcase. So in this bookcase, we've got the Master System and Dreamcast. We've then also got my Japanese Saturn games, my N-Gage games. Then we're going to put in another shelf. I can't tell you yet what's going on that shelf. That will be for an upcoming game hunt. And then the bottom shelf is going to be where we're going to put the Electron games. But as I say, I was expecting there to be more games of them, so I was expecting to fill the shelf. So what I'm hoping to be able to do is to actually get my Pico games on the shelf. I think what we'll end up doing with these, a bit like what we did with that last game on the Spectrum shelf, whereas as I won't put the trunk in behind it, I will just sort of slot them, but because of their height as well, I might have to put them sort of long ways, so I'm going to have a look. That'll be the first thing we'll look at. But before we get into putting the stuff in the shelf, I just want to actually go through the interesting situation that we had when I picked up the IKEA shelf. So because I was ordering just one shelf, I just had it sort of shipped to me, ordered it online and then had it shipped out. But because of the price, I couldn't have it shipped direct to me. It had to be shipped to my local Tesco's. So I was like, yeah, no, not a problem. It's a couple of minutes around the corner. So the day that it was due to be delivered, I got a text message to say that, oh, your driver will be there by about 5 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, not a problem. Then I got a second text message from they're actually titled IKEA driver, to say, I will be there around 5 o'clock. Let me know if you can't get there, so on and so forth. I'm like, what's all this about? And when it said that it was being delivered to my local Tesco's, what wasn't clear is that basically IKEA was sending out a driver and you were basically expected to pick it up from the car park. So it wasn't a case of it being a click and collect from the Tesco's. It was basically picked up from the Tesco's car park, and it was like some dodgy deal. But yeah, I was completely baffled with that, because the way that IKEA do it is orders under £15 aren't eligible for home delivery. So that's obviously how they get around it. They basically send out a driver, and the van was literally loaded up with IKEA parcels. So yeah, that's basically how they do it. So yeah, I ended up picking that up, and yeah, the whole idea was, I think originally when we put this bookcase together, I wasn't expecting to have enough room to put another shelf in. So yeah, the fact that we can is even better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive in first. Let's get the let's put the Acorn games on there. So I'm a bit worried about, oh no, I might be all right. Right, let's see, because I know, yeah, we've got plenty of room. So I'm going to put those ones in first, then I'm going to put the copy of Elite in, because, yeah, to be quite honest, the Elite is the right height. I think I actually used the Elite to measure how much space I would need. Okay, so we've basically got half a shelf. So yeah, a lot less than I was expecting. So let's grab the Pico games out. So I think with these, I think I've only got one of the games. I think there's one box in here that doesn't have the game. So we've got Lion King, which is in there, but the box isn't great, but I'll have to get that back together. Mickey's Blast into the Past. I know I've got that one in there. Yeah, because that one's complete. And then, yeah, we've got this one. So Professor Pico and the Paint Box Puzzle. So we've got the box and the manual. I think inside is my sort of Winnie the Pooh. So let's have a look and see if we can. So I'm going to put the manual in here for now. And just pop this in. There you go. So that's going to make the box like that. So to be quite honest, we're not far off of it being, but I don't know. I don't know if I like this because the boxes aren't in brilliant condition. Do you know what? I think with these, I don't think I'm going to put them on display because the boxes aren't great. All of them are sort of misshaped and everything like that. So I think with these, if I had box protectors for them, probably be a different kettle of fish. But in this condition, they're just all. It's not going to be easy to get them looking decent on the shelf. So I think for now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put these to the back of the shelf. I should have enough room, yeah. I think I'm going to put these to the back of the shelf for now. Then, nope, that's too big. And that's even bigger. Yeah, so I think for now, the second half of this shelf is probably going to be overflow. But overflow for what, I don't know. But yeah, what else can we get in? So we're actually ending up with a lot more space than I was anticipating. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to work that out later. Right, for now, I'm going to put the Pico games there and get rid of that box. And then, I'll tell you what, I am going to start with this shelf. So, right, so the problem I have got is that if I do have these ones towards the front, they are a different size. So I think everything is a different size. Yeah. So let me just see if I can get this in a way that it can be seen. So all three boxes are different sizes. So we've got Elite, which is on its own, the normal Electron boxes, and then the plastic ones. They're all different sizes. So do I want to stagger this shelf? That is the other thing to think of. Right, so actually that one, yeah, they're just all different sizes. So even between the plastic ones, they're all sort of different sizes. How much is it in that? All right, so it's not a massive amount for the Elite box. So I definitely want the Elite box towards the front, but I think I'm actually going to put those towards the back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? That's the only problem. If I was doing this as a live stream, then you could all put your input in. Right, so I've got those ones. So do I use some offcuts to sort of build this out? So let me see. So we've got plenty of offcuts sitting here. So I could either Right, actually, this could work. I know you can't see it, but I'm just sort of thinking out loud. So what I could do is sort of step it. I don't know, give me 2 seconds. Let me grab my phone and I can sort of put some pictures up that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I switched over to the mobile so you can see a bit more what I'm doing. Right, so obviously we've got these two that are bigger, and as you'll see, I can put them in like that. Then this isn't going to work, is it? I put Elite there like that, and then put that behind there, and then basically what to do is sort of cut them both off at the same place, and then have these ones running on their own bit of trunking. That's probably going to be the best way that I can think to do it. Yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment for sort of how to do that. But yeah, give me a minute, let me get the trunking cut, and then yeah, we'll see how we can do it. Okay, so I have got them in. It is by nowhere near ideal or sort of how I want it or anything like that, but for now they are in. I'm just working out where I'm going to put the shelf, so I'm going to stick this in. I'm not going to be putting any trunking on this one for today. I'm going to do that once we get the new additions in. I'll be honest, yeah, I'm still sort of working out how I'm going to do these shelves, because I think out of all of the bookcases in the room, this bookcase in particular is the one that's changed most. So I think when I originally put it all together, or when I originally started sort of planning it out, the Saturn and the Mega CD were all on this bookcase. It's just been sort of over the last few months we've got sort of new additions coming in, and yeah, I've just felt that sort of some games we give a bit too much real estate to, and yeah, others didn't get enough, I don't think. So yeah, right, let me. There we go. So they're in. So let's just put the shelf in. As I say, sort of I'm not going to do anything with this shelf today. I'll save that all for later. But I am going to do something with the Electron games. Because yeah, I don't really want the Barcode Battler and Gran Turismo set left here. So I think I might have a couple of sort of bookends that I might be able to put one on here. That will stop them sort of tipping over. You'll also notice that I didn't put a full row of a full line of trunking in. The reason for doing that is because I don't actually know what I'm going to put on here. So maybe I'll find something else that go in here that will might be a different size to the Electron stuff. So yeah, that's why I haven't put a full row of trunking in on here. Right, so next up, right, I'm going to I'll tell you what, I'm going to actually take these out. I'm going to put these down here. So these are my sort of Philips video packs. So they'll go there for the minute, because I'm pretty sure that yeah, the N-gauge, so it's about 1mm shorter than a CD case. No, a bit more than 1mm, about 0.5 centimetre shorter than a... So what can we do with that? So I can potentially sort of pad that out behind, so that we can then, what I'm going to do is put a whole row, a whole run of trunking in. So yeah, we'll get this marked up, put a whole run of trunking in, and then yeah, maybe just sort of take a bit of the trunking, put it behind, just to give it a bit of padding to sort of bring the N-gauge games forward. But obviously, yeah, we're gonna have a big row of empty space here. So, do you know what I'm going to do for now? Because there's not going to be a full row, I don't really want just a bit of trunking sort of sitting across the middle of the shelf. So I'm gonna pull everything to the front of the shelf. But for now, I'm not going to put any trunking on here. I think that's probably my best course of action now. Just because I think it's going to look horrible, just having some random bit of trunk, being able to see the trunking behind. So yeah, I'm going to leave that like that. So let's crack on with the Dreamcast. Okay, and there we go. So, as I say, I will admit I am not happy with the bottom half of the bookcase, but that will be something that I'm going to address going forward. Yeah, I think at the moment, sort of, especially with the bottom half of the bookcase, it's been very ad hoc and very last minute. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking at this bit in a bit more detail. But yeah, in general, obviously, really happy to have the Master System and the Dreamcast finally sorted. And yeah, it is. I think the problem with these shelves as well is I'm still not 100%. I'm still very not decided what's going on them. So obviously, I am going to keep the Saturn on here because I like the way that it sort of flows round from the actual Saturn shelf. I mean, once we've got the Saturn games pulled to the front, it will look a lot better. Obviously, the N-gauge, we will potentially move them to where at the moment, I don't know. But yeah, I'm also looking around at sort of like as I'm doing this, I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen with that in the future? So yeah, I think that's the problem I'm having at the moment, is I'm building the games room out to cater for everything that we've got at the moment. But I keep thinking about what I'm going to be doing going forward. And I think I need to try and sort of wind that sort of future planning back. And yeah, at the moment, just focus on getting what we've got built. So yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll probably come back to this at another time. I want to go, so in the next video, we're going to get the last, 5 bookcases done. So that will be the remaining Sega stuff, all of the Nintendo stuff, and all of the Xbox. And yeah, hopefully then, by the time that's done, we will be in a position that the room will be semi-finished. I'm not going to say completely finished because there are a couple more additions that we will be doing in the sort of following weeks. But for now, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there because I think I've got quite a bit of sort of thinking to do, especially with regards to sort of this bookcase. And yeah, I think overall, I'm really happy with the way that the room's coming. So I've had a couple of people sort of commenting how nice the room's looking, and a few people saying that even having the games pulled to the front is making it look so much better. And I will admit, I 100% agree. I think as we were building out the PlayStation shelves, I was a bit sort of umming and ahhing about it. But yeah, definitely happy. But actually, one thing with regard, before we get into the next video, there is something I want to ask all of you about. So at the moment, in the Xbox bookcases, we have got, I believe it's 9 shelves dedicated to Xbox 360. Now, obviously, I have got a whole stack of special editions and collector's editions, and I'm wondering what to do with them. So the two options that I'm toying with is, one, to either put them behind the other games and basically sort of keep them out of sight, or to switch one of the normal normal Xbox 360 shelves into a collector's edition shelf. So let me know in the comments down below. We'll do this again because yeah, it worked. You were all absolutely amazing with regards to the feedback with regards to front or back. So yeah, do we do a collector's edition shelf for 360, or do we put them to the back, or maybe even scatter them around like what we've done with sort of Last of Us and Rule of Rose on the PlayStation shelves? So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and then yeah, we'll look at that in the next video. And yeah, so with that said, that is going to wrap up today's video. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. Also, if you're watching on mobile, don't forget to smash that hype button to help promote the video within the algorithm. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.